Yo, guys, what's up? Russ here with episode 5 of Let's Talk Comics. Sitting over here is the man that actually introduced me to the comic book community and the reason that I'm still on YouTube, the boy who had 7, Matt.
What's
So
going on?
it's a pleasure to have you on the show, man.
Thank you
I
so
knew
much.
you were one of the guests I definitely wanted to get when I decided to start doing this.
Man, I appreciate that. It's been a long time since I've done a live stream with somebody. So
Yeah, I know
it
it's been
feels
a
good.
while for sure. What's up, Jeremy?
What's up, Jeremy?
Jeremy's actually the one that gave me the idea for this show.
Nice.
He was the very first guest, Comic Fury.
Yep. That's
What's
awesome.
going on, Gore?
Aha, Gore, what's going on?
So, I like to kick these things off, man, with the first question just being, what got you into collecting back in the day?
Ooh, man. Uh, being a kid in the early 90s and seeing all the colorful covers and the holographic cards and just it's just so cool to think back of how I felt when I was a kid seeing all that stuff. And there's this store called J&M Sports Cards and Collectibles that was maybe like 10 minutes from the house, and my mom would take me there, and I'd just sit in there and just look at everything,
Yeah.
and really enjoyed it. And I usually went in there for action figures because I love playing with He-Man action figures, G.I. Joe action figures, Ninja Turtles. But
Oh, yeah.
My brother-in-law, who was my sister's boyfriend at the time, just wanted to be a cool guy and brought me a stack of comics one day to my room while I was sitting there playing with my action figures. And he's like, "Let me introduce you to these."
That's
And
awesome, man.
set them on my bed, man. And after that, I was hooked.
I remember you told that story before, wasn't it? Infinity Gauntlet?
Yeah. So, the stack was huge.
Yeah.
Probably about 50 comics in there. And early Spider-Man, early X-Men. But the ones that really caught my attention were Infinity Gauntlet, Death of Superman. Those were in there.
Oh, yeah.
So this is
2 of the
probably,
greatest stories ever.
yeah. That's where I started it all. I'm thinking this is probably like around 2000, 1992, 93 maybe. So, it was right in the heat of all that stuff. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah. I know 93 is when I started, so we're pretty close there.
Yeah, that's why we have a lot of similarities.
Yeah. That 90s era, man, I don't know what it is, but still to this day, I love that 90s era. I don't know if it's just the nostalgia or the memories from when you were little, but
Yeah.
that still resonates as like my favorite era of collecting.
Oh yeah. The colors were bright. The art had just changed. You got Jim Lee coming on,
Yeah.
and just kicking butt with the X-Men. You got Todd McFarlane with Spider-Man. Like there's just so much color, so much new art. Then of course, like I said earlier, all these gimmicks that just when I see them, I get excited, man. I like a good holographic card, or you know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, I love the what was it, the Fatal Attraction storyline where Wolverine
yes.
had his adamantium removed. They had those holographic cards on all the covers.
Oh yeah, I still have.
That was just like a must have.
Yep. Oh yeah, man. And
I
then
remember, I think the first X-Men book that I remember picking up was that X-Men 1, the Jim Lee gatefold cover.
yeah, that's a good one. The art on that is spectacular.
Yeah. Such just,
Thank you, man.
yeah. It bugs me when I hear people like rag on that era and put it down. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? That's the best era. But everybody's going to love the era that they grew up in the best. Like if you grew up in the 80s, you'd be Bronze and Copper Age.
Yeah.
Later than that, you're going to be Silver Age. But
what's
I love those
wild,
eras, but it's the 90s for me.
Yeah, I agree, man. And what's crazy to think is that was thinking about 1993. That's 30 years ago, man.
Yeah, don't say that, man. I know they're getting ready to come out. I think in November they're getting ready to come out with the 30th anniversary of the Reign of Superman story.
Yep. Yep.
And yeah, I can't believe it's been like 30 years because it just doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, it feels like yesterday, but you start thinking that those aren't modern comics anymore, really. I mean, that's 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So they gotta update that, come up with, some type of new comic age, because that, 1975 to now, that's a big gap right there.
Oh yeah. 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 That's come to think of it, they haven't. Like it seems like they would come up with something, another era name.
Yeah. But man, I love those 90s books. And I think Gore said something about my cure. Thank you,
Oh
sir.
yeah. I know you're a big Cure fan.
Oh man, love them so much. So
The
so much.
full age.
Royal age, I like it. I like it. That's a good
That's
idea.
perfect. Such a cool time.
Yeah, man. I mean,
So
even like thinking of the characters that were coming out then, they're still some of my favorite. Venom,
yeah.
Carnage. Like I I just think it's the coolest stuff that came out, and I love it. And I don't care if someone rags on it because I like it.
Oh yeah. So many like a lot of cool characters did come from that time. Like I'm not the biggest Deadpool fan, but I did like some of the early comics. I've
Mhm.
never really been a fan of the movies though.
Yeah,
But he came out what, 91, 92 maybe?
somewhere around there. He's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, huge character.
Yeah.
Doomsday. I think he's one
Oh yeah.
of the scariest villains ever created, man.
Oh absolutely.
Dude can
I
resurrect,
could yeah.
can't die. He's unstoppable. It's scary, man.
When I first read that story, the death of Superman, it blew my mind because at the time I didn't know that had happened yet because it was 93 and the first book I picked up was the like I think just the second or third issue in the Reign of Superman story.
Yeah.
So I started flipping through that and found out Superman died and I was like, what? So I had to
What
go back
happened?
and try to find all those. And at the time, the only place I could find them was like there was a local flea market. So I would go there and I would hunt like Death of Superman books, and it took a couple of years, but I finally put the whole story together and was able to read it,
I
and it
love,
just blew my mind reading that.
I love it, man.
Yeah,
I
it was
remember
just awesome.
specifically watching the news, early morning news before school. My dad used to put it on, when he's getting ready to go to work, and all of a sudden it's like breaking news: Superman is dead. He's died. And I remember just being like, "What? Like Superman's on TV right now? Like what's happening?" It was so huge, man. And I love that
As well.
story. That's what I left. I left collecting for a while, and then after the Man of Steel came out, it just reignited that fire in me. I think that was what, 2014 Man of Steel.
Oh
And
yeah, when they did the miniseries again with Bendis.
no, the movie with Henry Cavill.
Oh, Henry Cavill. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that movie. I know again a lot of people ragged on it, but I love that movie.
I do too. I do too, man. And started going back and looking at my comics. I'm like, I'm missing a lot of the Death of Superman, Reign of Superman. So I started, like you did, I started looking issue by issue, completed the whole thing, and the rest is history because I'm still collecting now because of that.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy. Like to this day, I still need two issues in that run that I never picked up
really,
because at the time I didn't know that the cameo was Man of Steel 17,
hmm
so I never did pick that book up back in the day, and I think it was I can't remember the issue, but it was a Justice League issue where it's just like a black and white with a question mark on the cover.
yeah, I have that one.
Yeah,
Yep.
those are like the two that I still need still need to find.
Nice, nice. Yeah, that's Funeral for a Friend epilogue.
Yeah,
Something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know I picked up a sweet I want to say it was Justice League 70 I picked up with the DC Universe logo variant from Barbarian Kung Fu just last year.
Yeah, I saw that. I remember watching.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was awesome because I think that was only like the second or third DC logo variant I picked up.
Yep. I was hunting the first appearance of Doomsday with that DC logo for the longest time. And then who was it? Johnny. I can't remember his Instagram handle right now. But he had it for sale. He's like, I gotta sell this. I'm like, mine, claim, I want it. And I
Was
love,
Boy Johnny?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I've bought a couple of things from him before too.
yep. And I'm just happy that now I own that one, and it makes me happy.
Yeah.
There's more I want. Like I know you're looking for oh, which one is it? Um, I'm going blank now. There's another one that I want really bad, and I'll remember it as we keep talking. But
All right.
DC logos are special, man.
Yeah, they are. And that's another, like, I didn't know about those until like just maybe 3 or 4 years ago when I first discovered those.
There's more and more to learn all the time, man.
Oh yeah, always learning something new. Jeremy had a question here. He said he always wanted to know what's behind the name and the handle, the boy who had seven.
Awesome. This might work. Okay, so when I was starting my channel, I was sitting around with my wife and kids, and we're trying to come up with a name, right? And I wanted to have it Harry Potter based, but also speak about me. And I couldn't come up with anything. And then my son, Tony, who in 2018, he was 9 years old. He's like, Dad, how about the boy who had seven? And the reason why is because the first chapter of the first book of Harry Potter, I'm going to see if I can show you guys on here, is titled The Boy Who Lived, right? And so I wanted to do something with the boy who lived. So he's like, how about you do the boy who had seven, since we have seven kids? So my wife and I, high school sweethearts, got married 2 days after we graduated. We've been together since then. We've had seven kids. I didn't have them. The wife did, you know. That's why she's the girl who had seven. But yeah, so it's the boy who lived and the fact that I have seven kids combined together. And that's where the handle comes from, man. So,
That's awesome, man.
yeah, I love it. And my 9-year-old came up with it on the spot, and all of us were like, yes, that's awesome. And that was it. I threw it on my YouTube channel in 2018, and the rest is history.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Huge Harry Potter fan, man. You still haven't read those, have you?
Oh no, no, and I still haven't watched the last two movies either.
What did you think? Because I know you started going on that journey.
Yeah.
What did you think, man?
See, I'm trying to remember where I stopped right after the fifth one, and I had to let the streaming service go, so I didn't get to see the last two. And I think the last one, the seventh one, was in two parts. So
Yes.
really, the last three.
Yeah, you still got three.
But gosh, I can't even remember that much about them now. I remember liking the first three.
Yeah.
And the fourth one, I don't know. The fourth one, like the first half of it didn't really have me, but then the last half of it did.
Oh yeah.
But I still need to watch that the fifth one or the sixth one and the last two parts of the final. Yeah.
Yeah. It's worth it, man, because the thing about Harry Potter is it's layer on top of layer on top of layer, and her genius is the fact that she created a structure that takes you back every year in the same way. You know, you start off at home, then you leave the Hogwarts, then you're there, then you're battling the bad guy, and then you're back at home at the end. And within that, you think like it's this little kid story, but when you start just peeling away all these things, it's so deep. And I was going out walking because I was inspired by you a couple months ago, and I'm like, I'm gonna start walking like Russ, man. And I did it pretty consistently for about a month. And one day I was listening to the sixth book. Yeah, no, the seventh book, and on Audible.
Oh
and,
yeah.
Man, something hit me, and I kid you not, and I'm not exaggerating at all. I've read every single book in Harry Potter more than 25 times. I am a little bit obsessed with it, man.
Yeah, I've heard several people say the books are like better than the movies.
1,000 times better, man. But I've read it so much, but I guess I just missed one thing, one of those layers, and I just broke down crying, you know, and I'm like sobbing as I'm walking down the street in the neighborhood, you know. And
you never know when something's going to hit that emotion, man, and get you.
It got me good, and it was so deep and so incredible. Man, I loved it. Oh, look who it is. What's
What's
up,
up,
JoJo?
JoJo?
Oh man, I haven't seen JoJo forever. How you
I
doing?
had her on a couple weeks ago.
I saw it and I haven't had a chance to watch it yet,
Yeah.
but I will.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it turned into almost a 4-hour stream. It's like 2 minutes shy of a 4-hour stream.
That's cool. That's cool. Those are
It
the
was
best.
awesome.
I remember I did a show with Varegian Vigilante, and of course I'm Gryffindor. You know it. And I did that show with him, and we were supposed to be on an hour, and it ended up turning into a 6-hour stream, man. So
Yeah.
it was good old days.
Oh yeah. That's like the cool thing, man. It's just like catching up with old friends, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been so distant because I've been so busy.
Yeah.
That, I really appreciate you inviting me on, man. It's nice to feel like I'm back with you and the old
Oh yeah.
crew and everybody, you know.
I definitely wanted to get you on this show, man, as an early guest.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just like, cause I think the only other time we've really been on streams together is like the couple times I was on Comic when you were still hosting it.
Yes. Yeah, you did pretty good too. After I left, you were the champ for a bit on John's channel, right?
Yeah, I managed to win 2 in a row somehow. I don't know.
Oh man, I miss doing that show so much. It was so much fun.
It was a blast, man.
Gosh.
JoJo's Ravenclaw.
Ravenclaw's all right. I'm okay with that. Actually, within my family, we've got all the houses. So some of my kids and the wife are Hufflepuff, and then I got some Slytherin kids and then a Ravenclaw. So it works out. We got to love each other.
I know a couple years ago, before I even watched one of the movies,
Mhm.
I was like in a group chat with like some of my Funko friends, and they did like a little Harry Potter like quiz thing.
Nice.
And at the time, after I did the quiz, it like revealed that I was Hufflepuff,
Cool.
and I had no idea what that meant until I saw the movie like a couple years after that, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now.
I get it. That's where I'm at. Hey, you're in good company. Cedric Diggory was pretty cool.
But yeah, at the time I was just like clueless. I was like, "What's that mean?"
What's happening? What's going on here?
Yeah.
Man, you still talk to those Funko friends?
Not as much anymore, man. Most of them kind of fell off. I still see Archer every now and again, but he barely posts videos, and
Yeah.
it's like the only one that I really like kept in touch with was like Lindsay.
Cool. Lindsay's
We still like text every now and again.
Yeah, she's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I followed a lot of your friends from the Funko when you first came over to comics and when I was watching you over there and stuff. And I've also watched them kind of just slowly drift away. And
Yeah, a ton of them like don't need like just completely stop doing videos and just kind of started doing other things.
Yeah. Man, life gets busy, you know?
Yeah, but we still try to keep in touch as much as we can.
That's good. So I hear I hear you finished up your X-Men run, huh?
Oh yeah, finally after like 3 years, I finally finished up the Dark Phoenix saga.
Yeah.
You probably can't really see them, but I know you'll be proud because all of them are white pages.
That's what I'm talking about.
They're lower grade, but they're white pages.
Hey, it works.
Like I had to go for like the 6.0 on some of the more expensive ones.
I love it.
But I was just like, I really wanted that. Like ever since I like saw the story like take place on the X-Men animated cartoon, and then I read like the trade paperback.
Yeah,
I've always wanted the individual issues, and if I would have got them back then, I would have got them a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like some of the deals you can find sometimes on the lower grade books are amazing, man. Like just want them in the collection, so grade don't really matter.
Yeah. No, it's true, man. If you're just getting them to make sure you have them and they fit what you want, what you're looking for, man, you can find some good stuff.
Oh yeah.
I like that you did white pages though. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I wanted them all at least to match the white pages, even if they were like the OCD in me kind of wishes they were all the same grade.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
that's something that I like had to train myself to overlook. because I just like things like even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed in my collection over the years that the funnest part is really the hunt. You
Yeah,
know,
it is.
you're looking for it and you're just, trying to go to comic shops or eBay, and then you finally get it and you just have this euphoric feeling, right? Like you're
Yeah.
like 10 again, and you're
Oh,
in
yeah.
the comic shop and seeing all these amazing comics, and then you have it for a while. And then you know what, man? So many times I've said, okay, now I'm gonna upgrade here, or I'm gonna change this, or I'm gonna do that, and who knows, maybe one of these days you'll get all of those in 6.0s, and then you'll go to
Yeah.
7.5s, and you know what I mean? Like, you just never know.
Yeah.
You could always change it, do it, start a new hunt.
Oh, yeah. Because there's still a couple X-Men stories, some smaller stories I'd like to put together.
Yeah. But for now, you've slayed that dragon. That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Congratulations.
Like, it's funny. Like, I remember in 2018, like my big collecting goal for that year was to get at least one slab.
Mhm.
And I feel like that was the mistake of my collecting, because then I started getting a bunch of slabs.
Once you pop, you can't stop, right?
Yeah. But it's like some I like to collect raw.
Mhm.
But if it's going to be like a book, like a part of a storyline, or a book that's a little more expensive, and I have the trade, I'll like look for graded copies.
Nice. I like it. What I like to do is, once I find the comic book that I've been hunting, I need to make sure I've read it, because I can't say, oh, I want this book and I've never read
Yeah.
it.
Like, somewhere down here, I've got the trade of Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
And gosh, I've read that thing to death since I bought it. It's one of those. I can't see very good, so I'll be looking for a minute.
Well, I've never read the Dark Phoenix saga. And
Oh,
so,
really?
yeah. And so I hadn't even read the Phoenix saga.
Oh, it's
So
so good.
I recently read the whole Phoenix saga, and it was funny because Zlata, she saw the book that I got, and she's like, dude, I'm literally gonna read that book today. I'm like, I'm reading it right now as you're texting me, like,
Yeah.
So, and I really enjoyed that.
I got a couple years ago, I want to say 2019 or 2020, my big gold book for that year was Uncanny X-Men 101. And I found it in a 5.0. I know you're going to be disappointed because it's off-white to white pages. But I pulled the trigger on it, and because that had been a grail book of mine forever.
Yes.
And I had the reprint that came with the Jean Grey Phoenix Marvel Legends figure.
Nice.
So I wanted to get the actual book in a slab because I had the reprint to read.
Yeah.
But that was like such a big book for me to get in my collection.
I remember seeing you get that. I'm super never disappointed, man. Everybody collects how they collect, and I'm always excited and happy for whoever, man. So
Yeah.
that 5.0 is
Yeah. At the time, that book was popping off, so I was just looking for like the lowest grade with the best deal I could find. Yeah.
I made a couple mistakes buying some books over the last 3 years, and I've definitely lost a lot of money. But I stopped buying books like end of 2020, and I just bought a few. So I didn't lose too much, but like, for instance, I got the first appearance of Amadeus Cho because it had been Amazing Fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
It had been on my want list, right? And during the peaks, it got up to like $3,000. And
Wow.
so I was like, you know what? This person's offering it for $1,800. Let me offer them $1,500. And I got it. And I thought I had this great deal, which at the time I did, And now I saw one sell the other day for like $700. And I'm like, no, what have I done?
So, yeah, I think we've all made I didn't go in with like knowledge of like the like grades and like what was booming and what was not. Like I would just like when I would search for something specific on eBay, I would always filter lowest price to highest. So I would look for that lowest price.
Yeah.
Like I got the first appearance of Rogue, the Avengers King Side or Annual 10.
Annual 10, yeah.
Yeah, I got lucky and I found a reader copy of that for like $25. And I remember I was looking at it in like a 9.8 for like it was just like $200 or something.
Yeah.
And at the time I had never spent that much on a book before, so I was trying to save up, and then it it popped off because they had that rumor she was going to be in the movie again,
Yep.
and that $200 book went almost to 1,000,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Oh, it exceeded 1,000
because
at some
oh
point.
yeah,
2,500, man.
but like I
Crazy.
knew I wanted that book just because I love the character of Rogue, so I immediately searched lowest to highest and felt that reader copy for $25 because I had to have it in my collection.
Cool.
Because I mean, Rogue was like my first crush as a kid.
Oh,
When I
dude.
saw her in the animated series, I
Those
was
are
like,
all of ours.
yeah, I was like 12 years old when the
Yeah.
animated series came out, and Rogue was like my first crush.
Yeah. I told my wife one time, I told her, you're going to be mad at me, but I got to tell you who my first crush is. And she's like, oh, okay, tell me. I'm like, Rogue. she's like, of course, dude. You're a weirdo, man. I was like, you just don't know. The way she said sugar.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty sure that was the first time I noticed women when I was like 12 years old. I was like, oh.
Man, she's awesome. She's such a great character.
Yeah.
Rogue, Gambit, and Wolverine. Those were my favorite in the 90s, man. They were just so
Oh,
good.
yeah. I remember like loving Gambit too, thinking he's such a cool character with the accent. Like that's still the first appearance I need to get to, the first Gambit. I picked up the facsimile when it came out
Nice.
a couple years back.
Nice. Well, which first appearance are you going to get? The annual or 266? Now, everyone.
Well, I'd just like ultimately I'd like to get both, but
Same.
I love that 266 for the cover.
You got to have that one, man.
Yeah.
You know? It's such
The
a.
annual, I think the annual is quite a bit cheaper than 266 though, so I'll probably end up getting the annual first.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to have both, but you're right. I think
Yeah.
it's cheaper. Such a cool character.
But
Man.
I remember wanting to be Gambit just because he was like flirting with Rogue.
Yeah, he's the bomb. I love him.
Yeah.
So who are your top 5 favorite characters across all universes?
Oh God.
I know that's a hard question to ask on the fly.
Number one has definitely got to be Superman, just because that was the character that like the Christopher Reeve Superman. It's what introduced me to the character, and then a couple years later, the comics. So number one will always be Superman. Gosh, it's so hard to do. Like it's the toughest thing. I love Wally West is the Wally West Flash because that was like the first Flash that I started reading was
right.
Wally.
That's the first Flash you knew.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he's definitely got to be a number 2 favorite. Captain America for Marvel has got to be number 3. I've loved him for years. Like it's funny because the first Captain America comic I remember reading was the one that gets like crapped on so much because it was the Rob Liefeld Captain America. But those were the first covers I picked up. Yeah, those big like super steroid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but of course, I've since gone back and I've read like a lot of the early Captain America stuff, and he became an absolute favorite. So he's got to be number 3 for me.
He's awesome. I love him.
And I got to go Spider-Man number 4. I still remember the first Spider-Man storyline I read was Maximum Carnage.
Oh, let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, and that introduced me to not only Spider-Man in the comics, but Venom, Carnage, and a ton of other like characters that cameoed.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And this is probably going to surprise some people because I don't talk about this character a lot, but it's last June just got the first appearance of finally Iron Fist. Danny Rand Iron Fist.
Cool.
I like growing up, I was huge into Bruce Lee and martial arts films.
Nice.
And I discovered Iron Fist in the early 90s. And I read a bunch of his 90s stuff.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until a couple years ago I went back and I read some of the older stuff, like maybe 5-6 years ago. So I had been wanting his first appearance for the longest time, and I finally got that in my collection last June at Heroes Con.
Nice. That's Marvel.
So
Premier 15,
I got to go with the surprise character of Iron Fist for number 5.
Cool. I dig it, man. That is.
What about you, bro?
Oh man. Okay. Well, I'm gonna start with my favorite guy, who's right behind me.
Vegeta.
Vegeta is my favorite character of all time, and I think that's one of the reasons I love your name, man, because that comes from Vegeta, man.
Yeah, it's over 9,000.
Yeah, so good. But I love his character arc.
Yeah,
He was this evil, horrible villain, and Goku spares his life, tells Krillin not to kill him, and then all of a sudden he's trying to beat them to the Dragon Balls to wish for immortality so he could just kick everybody's butt, you know.
yeah,
He's ruthless, he's killing people, and Goku's like, you don't gotta kill people. But Vegeta's like, you don't know me, I kill everyone, you know. And then all of a sudden now he's a dad, he's taking his kids on train rides and to get ice cream, and you just see this arc of this guy, and really when he cemented in my heart that he's the favorite was when he was fighting Majin Buu, and he's Majin Vegeta, and
yep,
he finally he's like, you know what? He's like, I've gotta give my life to try to beat this guy. And that whole scene where he tells his son, come and hug me. He's like, I've never touched you since you were a baby. But he's like, come hug me. And then Trunks is all weirded out, you know? And then he just hits him in the neck and knocks him out. Because he knows the ferocity of his son's heart. His son will not leave him in a battle, right? So he knocks him out, and then Goten's like, you're a bad dad. Dads aren't supposed to do that. Punches him in the gut, knocks him out, you know? And so he tells Piccolo, get away from here because I'm gonna give my all. And then when he asks Piccolo, tell me, will I meet that clown in the next life? And then Piccolo's like, you want to know the truth? He's like, yes. He's like, Goku spent his whole life doing good.
yeah.
You spent your whole life hurting people and causing harm. You're not going to the same place that Goku's at. And then he's like, so be it. Oh my gosh, man.
That was such a good arc, man.
Like, and then just watching him still give his life, even though he knows, all right, man, I'm going to hell, right? And my life's over. I'm going to do this for my wife, for my kids, for the world. And I got to make up for all things I've done. In that moment, man, he just became my favorite character.
Oh yeah,
I absolutely love Vegeta, man.
I was the same. Like, yeah, it was like Goku at the start because Vegeta hadn't come in yet to the series, and like he quickly became my most hated and then my most favorite character so fast.
Yes. Oh man, the journey of a hero from villain to hero. It's cool.
Yeah.
And even I read the manga and I'm all the way up to Super to where it's at. And Vegeta gets some powers that, in my opinion, if he learns how to use those powers to the best of his ability, he's unstoppable. He gets a power called Spirit Fission. I don't know. Do you want me to? I don't know if I'm.
Oh no, like I've never read the mangas, and I don't know when I ever will, so I don't mind spoilers, man.
So you know how when Planet Frieza explodes. I'm sorry, Planet Namek explodes, and they just beat Frieza, and Goku's like, he's taken in by the Yadrats, and he learned how to do instant transmission. Do you remember that?
Yep.
So Vegeta goes there and trains with those same guys, and they actually tell him, you're actually way stronger spiritually than Kakarot, but your problem is that you're too wound tight. And so we're going to teach you how to unwind, and we're going to teach you something different. And he's like, yeah, I don't want to learn what this clown knows. I don't need instant transmission. Teach me something else, right?
Yeah.
So they teach him this thing called Spirit Fission. And it's if he can physically touch you, he can just suck your power out of your body. So like if Goku's turning into, Super Saiyan 3, he could just touch him and then he turns him back into just regular, and it's just this epic power. And so Vegeta uses it to fight Moro, which is this evil like wizard god. And man, I'm like, if he can learn how to use that really good and some of the other stuff he's picked up, he's going to be unstoppable. So I'm always rooting for him to win, and he's my favorite.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Vegeta's just so cool, man.
Yeah, he really is. He really is. But he'll be number one. Harry Potter, he's number two. I seriously love that kid, and I think he's one of the greatest heroes ever. There's a moment in the 7th book that I'm going to spoil for you, Russ, but it's just so cool. So in the 7th book, oh man, I don't know if I want to spoil this for you.
That's all good, man.
Huge. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the 6th book, he finds out that Voldemort has ripped his soul into 7 pieces. and he's taken his soul and he's put it in different objects, and they're called Horcruxes. And the reason he did that is because he's like, if I die, then I have 7 other spirits where I can come back to life and resurrect. So I'll pretty much be unstoppable and immortal, right? And so he has these evil spirits in these objects, and he's hidden them all over. And Dumbledore finds out, and he starts having Harry learn about them. And then he's like, we're going to go find all these Horcruxes, destroy all of them, so that when we finally meet Voldemort, we can kill him and he'll be mortal, right? So in the 7th book, Harry finds out at the very end, most of the Horcruxes are destroyed, and there's one left and Voldemort left, and he finds out there's a 3rd secret one that he didn't know about, and it's him.
Yeah. That
Harry has the evil spirit of Voldemort inside of him. Oh, I'm gonna start crying. I'm sorry, man. I get so emotional. And so he finds this out by looking into this thing called the Pensieve, and it is with somebody's memories, right? And it's Snape's memories, and he's Snape's dead, and Dumbledore's gone, and he's all alone, and he finds out that Dumbledore's kept him alive this whole time because he actually has to die before Voldemort can be killed. And so he's alone. There's this huge battle going on, and he's like, okay, I have a choice to make. I either run and hide, or I go and die. And he's like, I gotta go die. I have to. And so he puts on the cloak of invisibility, and he walks through the battlefield, and he's seeing all these dead people because Voldemort's like, all right, Harry Potter, if you come out to the forest, I won't kill everybody else, but come to me. And so he puts the cloak of invisibility on. He's passing his girlfriend, who he's in love with, and she's crying over somebody's dead body. And in that moment in the book, he's like, I just want to touch her and tell her goodbye and tell her I love her. But if I do, I'll never go, and she'll never let me. So he just quietly walks past her into the forest, and then right up to Voldemort. He's like, all right, I'm here. And oh my gosh, man, just to think of this kid, the 17-year-old kid going up to Voldemort and just knowing I have to die, and I'm walking to my death, but that's all right because I love people. I'm going to sacrifice myself. My goodness, man. He is just one of my favorite characters ever, and I absolutely love Harry Potter. So he'd be number 2.
Did they pretty much do the same thing in the movie, or?
They did. There's a couple changes that really frustrated me in the movies because they didn't. It's not as epic as the book, but that scene's in there kind of. So yeah, I mean it's good. You got to finish watching it, man, because you're going to learn about the Horcruxes, which is so exciting and so terrifying, and then Harry's hunt to destroy the Horcruxes and to destroy Voldemort, So, but yeah, all right, that's number 2. I got 3 more. Next is going to be Batman. I absolutely love Batman. The Batman animated series is really what made me fall in love with him, and he has some of my favorite stories ever written. He's a human, and he just can compete because of his brains and his money and his will. So I love Batman so much, man. He's just the coolest. Spider-Man would be number 4. To see Peter Parker just sacrifice the way he does and to be so selfless and man, Spider-Man 2, that movie is so good. It's my favorite Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. That was it's still in my top 5 superhero movies.
Yeah, man. When he takes off his mask and Mary Jane finally sees him for the first time, I'm like, let's go. So I just love Spider-Man. He's just part of my life. He always has been. And number 5, man, it's going to be hard because there's a lot of people I can think of. There's a lot. I love Darth Vader so much. I love Neo from Matrix. I love Ghost Rider. I love Superman. like there's so many good ones.
I know it's hard to narrow it down, isn't it?
It is. Frodo Baggins. I mean, there's Luke Skywalker. There's so many good characters. Then a bunch of anime. I love One Punch Man. I have barely gotten into One Punch Man in the last year, and he's quickly become up there. I just love that character, man.
Yeah, that's one I still need to watch. I haven't watched any of that yet.
Dude, it's so good. I'm gonna have to go Darth Vader though, because I've been in love with Darth Vader since I was probably like 5 years old. I'm an emotional guy. You've hung out with me for many years, and my tears come easily. I remember being 5 years old and watching Return of the Jedi, and when Darth Vader is fighting Luke at the end, and he's like, "A sister, you have a sister," and I have 5 sisters, right? So I remember at the time I only had 1, 2, 3, but I remember just crying and being like, "You can't, Luke, you got to get him. Like, he's going to hurt your sisters, But I mean, like, oh, geez. Star Wars means so much to me, and I'd probably have to go Darth Vader, number 5.
You can't go wrong with that top 5, man, for sure.
Yeah. Woo.
Let's see.
Got me emotional, man.
Jeremy asked, what is the next big book each of you are chasing?
Ooh. You want to go first, Russ, or you want me to go first?
Oh, man. There's several that I still want to pick up, but I'm kind of taking a break from collecting right now until probably January because I still have to pay some of these off.
Yeah.
So I'm taking a little bit of a break till January. But a big book that I hope to pick up in next year in 2024. I've been after a platinum edition of Superman 75 for years and years. That's one that always eluded me and I never found in my collection.
Yeah.
But like right now, I think it's like $400 or $500 for a sealed, and I can't.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping the price comes down some more next year, and maybe even try to work out a trade for it next year or something. Because that's just like always been like a book I've wanted since I was small.
It has to be in your collection, man. It has to be.
So I'm hoping next year the price will come down some more, and maybe I can work out a trade so it's not quite so expensive.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a goal for 2024.
Cool.
What about you, brother?
Before I tell you, your Superman 75 signed by Jurgens.
Yeah.
Magnifico.
I was so happy when I found that. Like even to find it in a 9.8 and signed.
Yep.
For the price, I think I paid. I want to say it was $130.
That's insane.
For a signed 9.8. Yeah, I couldn't believe the deal. Like I was so scared he was just gonna keep the money and not ship the book.
You're like, it's too good to be
like
true.
Yeah. For some reason, nobody else bid on it, and I got so lucky.
Yeah. No, when you showed it off, I was like, that is my type of book. I'm proud of you, Russ.
That was like a huge sentimental grail for me right there.
It has to be, man. I mean, you're the Superman guy, so super good. Well, I'm actually marked off a lot of big books that I'd been looking for, and I didn't think I would this year. I did, but my ultimate grail that's attainable that I'm looking for, and I've actually been selling a lot of my collection, and I'm just putting that money aside, is Amazing Fantasy 15.
Oh, yeah. I remember you were talking a while back, that being like a top book for you.
Yep. Because I love Spider-Man so much. Batman's first appearance is unattainable right now. Unless I become a multi-millionaire one of these days for one of the books that I write, or my business gets bigger. I don't know. If it happens, then that'll be attainable. Right now, no. My wife would leave me. I'd be destitute.
It'll just be you with that book sitting in a box on the side of the road.
That's it.
I got the book though.
So, but yeah,
it'd be like that scene with Thanos. What did it cost you? Everything.
Everything. And I'm not willing to give up everything for that.
Yeah.
One of these days, hopefully. But right now, Amazing Fantasy 15 is attainable. I'm looking for it from a 3.5 to a 5.0 with white pages, and I need it to come down still. It got astronomically insane during the price bump of 2021. And I needed to keep dropping like another 15, 20 grand before I can feel okay about it, But it went like this. It really did. And now it's kind of like this.
It's just kind of,
keep going down.
Yeah, for real.
But you actually mentioned the book that's on my want list. I'm gonna open up my notes on my phone because I have
All right.
books that I want, and one of the ones I've been hunting for a while, and I'm kicking myself because it's like, oh, I should have grabbed it. Was oh, hey, what's up, Alex? I want that Marvel Premiere 15 in a 9.8 with white pages.
Oh yeah.
So that's
Might
one
not.
that is definitely on my list. I want to showcase 22. I had one and I sold it because it didn't have white pages. And that one's probably going to be like the hardest thing ever to get is Green Lantern, Hal Jordan's first appearance with white pages.
Oh yeah.
I've seen one. But that's
Yeah, I imagine it'd be like almost impossible to find books that old with white pages.
It's tough, man. And then I just sold my Brave and the Bold 28. Are we having a battle about first appearances out there? Oh man. I sold my Brave and the Bold first Justice League because I was going to sell it and then grab a version with white pages. But the seller on YouTube just won't. On eBay won't come down, and I think it's too high.
Oh
so,
yeah.
so I'm hoping. But yeah, those are some of the books I'm after, man.
Those are some great books, man, for sure. What's up, John? I didn't see you pop in, brother.
What's up, John?
I got way behind on the chat.
Sorry, man. We got talking.
But yeah, there's so many like books that like I've missed out on over the years that like I was so close to getting, and then they just kind of blew up, and I like became impossible.
Yeah, my wife told me, she's like, sell every book you have. I think it was like August 2021. She's like, sell it all. She's like, I have a feeling it's just all gonna like slam down, and then you'll be able to buy everything back.
Yeah.
And make a profit. And I was like, I can't do that. I'm too in love with my book. She's like, well, sell mine then, my Punisher. And somebody offered me $65K for it. And I was really tempted, but I'm like, no, babe, another 20 years, like I just keep it. We don't, and sometimes I just kick myself.
I know I was like several years ago. Yeah, Comic Fu, he's like probably the biggest Green Lantern fan that I know. I'm pretty sure he has the whole collection. I think he has the first appearance.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would imagine.
But he's been like dropping a lot. He's been putting together the Death of Superman, like all variants, newsstand directs, all the printings, foreign editions, the whole thing. Like he's been showing some awesome stuff on his channel that I didn't even know existed. And he actually recently sent me a Death of Superman German edition AOK.
Yeah, that is awesome. I saw that on YouTube. I think you had that cover on your thumbnail, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. I decided to leave it sealed because I can't read German editions anyway. And I just thought this was like so awesome.
That's cool, man. Way to go.
But yeah, he's been doing like some amazing collection videos on his channel.
I'm gonna have to go check that out. That's pretty cool. That's exciting.
Oh, he sold his first furniture for the showcase.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about, man. I just want it with white pages, and that's the problem. Like I saw 3.5 with white pages, and I begged the guy to sell it to me, and he's like, "No way, Jose." So, and I haven't seen any. And I literally check eBay like twice a week for a showcase 22 with white pages, hoping it'll pop up one of these days. And,
I imagine that'd be real hard to find with that page quality.
Yep. Other ones I would like to get are Star Wars 1 and the 9.8, but I turned it down for $600 4 years ago, and now that it's like $3,000, I just feel it.
Oh wow, did it go up that much?
Oh, it went up even more than that, but it's come down to $3,000, and I'm just like, no.
Yeah, absolutely.
$900 for it. I don't want to pay $3,000.
I
So
definitely feel that. I remember I almost had an X-Men 4, the first appearance of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver,
yeah,
and it was a 2.0 for 600, and I'd like almost had enough money saved up. Then the wash machine broke down, and I had to spend that money on a wash machine.
gotta
And
wash.
when I was saving up again, I had only gotten back up to about 150, and that book took off, and that same 2.0s like went over 1,000.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, it bumped me out for a while. But that 150 that I had back saved, I was scrolling through eBay, and I found a Superman 123, the first prototype appearance of Supergirl, for $143.
that's
So
right.
I took
I knew
that, yeah, I put that money into that, and that just like instantly made me feel better
cool. That's cool.
because that was like a book that had been a grill of mine for a while too.
Man,
I still one day need to get an Action Comics 252, but that book is like, even in a 1.0, it's like $1,000 or more. So that's like
that's
a
the
way
first
off
appearance
future
of
thing.
Supergirl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. The 252 is the first Cures of Real Supergirl.
yeah,
And the prototype that I have was almost a year earlier, but they introduced and killed that Supergirl in the same issue.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's such a funny story because I bought that one slabbed in a 2.5. So I looked it up to read it digitally because I wanted to read the story, and it was so like just one of those like zany Silver Age stories. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Jimmy Olsen like wished on a magic totem that Superman had a girlfriend that was just like him. So this Supergirl with no name other than Supergirl just like appeared,
just comes
and
out
she
of
had all
nowhere.
Superman's powers, but she didn't have the experience. So she
Yeah,
would like overuse the powers and stuff.
yeah.
So at the end, she like wished to not exist. So Jimmy
Oh,
just wished her back out of existence.
that kills my.
Yeah.
That's sad.
But then like about a year later, they brought out the Cures of Real Supergirl, and that one obviously stuck.
Yeah,
But it's just such a like just a fun like Silver Age story.
they were testing the waters with that one, huh?
Yeah. So it's like I like super happy having like the prototype appearance for like so cheap.
If money didn't matter, is your ultimate grail Action Comics 1?
Oh gosh, if money didn't matter,
Yeah,
I would absolutely like it would be a dream beyond dream just to even like hold that book for a few seconds and take a photo with it.
yeah.
But yeah, if money didn't matter, like that would definitely be the book to have that character's first appearance would be an unbelievable dream.
That's awesome, man. I always go back and forth between Action 1 and Tech 27. Just because Detective Comic 27 is Batman's first appearance, right? He's my favorite comic book character. So, and it's a 1930s book. I mean, it's just so incredible, and it's like the book, right? But then Action Comics 1 is the book. Like it's the first appearance of a superhero. You know what I mean? Like of Superman that started it all. Like so, but I'd probably have to go with Tech 27 because of Batman. You know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So far, the earliest Superman book I have in my collection is Action Comics 57 from I can't remember, like it's in the 40s, the 1940s, but that was an AOK from Kavi. And like every time I pick that book up, I just feel like I'm holding a piece of Superman history in my hands. And
you are,
man.
You are, man. That's the thing. You are. That's awesome.
It's like that. That's most likely the earliest Superman I'm ever gonna have. Man, and it just every time I pick it up, it just feels special.
That's awesome. My oldest book is a 1950s book, so I haven't gone pre-50s, and that was gifted to me by Man Cave. It's a Shazam book with white pages. So
that's awesome.
Super cool to have. And I'm so grateful for that. And I keep wanting to get into the Golden Age, but I will not get anything without white pages. So it's a little expensive. And I know if I do it, it's going to open a rabbit hole and it's going to destroy me. And so I got to stay away.
Yeah. I do like eventually, since I have that Golden Age Action Comics, eventually I want to pick up a Golden Age Batman and a Golden Age Wonder Woman just to complete that trinity of characters in Golden Age. So it's like I'm just trying to find like the cheapest Golden Age Batman and cheapest Golden Age Wonder Woman I can find. I'm not like focused on a specific issue. I
Yeah,
just like that's just like a loose goal to just eventually have that trinity of characters.
that's cool. That we one time we did an exhibition match on Comic Gories, and I played, and I went against Kavi, and they said show the most iconic car in the comic, and so I had a silver version of Action One, and
Oh yeah,
in my head I'm like, oh yeah, with Superman
holding
holding
up the
up that
car. Yeah,
car, like it's iconic. But I forgot that Kavi owned the first appearance of the Batmobile, and
I
so
remember. I remember that episode, brother. I remember when Kami pulled that out. It was
yeah,
just like that
he
was it.
devastated me. But I found that issue with white pages, and
Oh man,
I was gonna get it. It'd be like, finally, Kavi, I've conquered you. But it was so expensive, and they wanted such a premium for the white pages. I called up DS Comics. And I'm like, dude, what do you think, man? You're like the guy I know that loves Golden Age books, and they're charging this much more for these white pages on this book. He's like, don't do it. It's not worth it, man. So I didn't do it, but Kavi got me. He got me
yeah,
good.
yeah. I remember. I remember that episode. That was so good. Just
Gomez,
like
what's up, man? It
Kami
always
could just pull
people.
some bangers out.
Oh, he does. He owns some bangers. Which book did he say he was looking for? The X-Men First
The
Century?
was that issue 14? I think.
Mhm. I'm not the best on X-Men books. John's in here. He'll
I'm
know.
pretty sure it's issue 14.
Yeah, you probably got it right. That sounds about right.
I know for a little while I was looking to pick up issue 12, the first Juggernaut, but then that book kind of took off and it just kind of something that never happened.
Yeah. Man, there's so many books. So many books.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's like I should have got them years ago, like when they were cheaper, because once they took off, they're never going to come back to that level that's affordable for me. I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah. My biggest comic mistake, and I still get frustrated. My wife's like, stop worrying about it. You can't do anything about it. But I think about it often. I had some big money to spend, and I had saved up, sold some of my books, and I'm like, I want something good. And so I whittled it down to 2 books.
Yeah.
Brave and the Bold 28, the first Justice League, or TMNT 1 with a 9.0, excuse me, white pages. And so they want the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle book was about $2,000 more.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I love the Turtles. I grew up with them. I love the Justice League. And like, who do I love more? Collect what you love. So I went with the Justice League because I like them a little bit more than I did the Turtles, right? There you go. 14. But my Brave and the Bold, I bought it. And during the 2021 boom, it went up like $3,000. It wasn't a big boom. DC books really didn't move like Marvel books did. But that Turtles book,
Oh yeah, that thing
so high.
exploded. Yeah.
So high. I was like, I could have made $70,000 selling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it blew my mind how much that book exploded.
And now everything's dropping, right? But it's come down, but only to $30,000. That book's selling for $30,000 still. And I'm like, keep going. I need you to get $10K. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Oh
There's
yeah.
so few copies out there of that book that I just made.
Yeah, it didn't have a very high print run, did it?
It did 3,000.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I know that they did. They made like second and third prints, I think.
Yeah.
I think they made a third print.
Yeah, they did. Second, third print. Yeah. Yeah, it just eats me alive, man.
Have they ever done a facsimile of it?
Quite a few, I think. I know I've seen like in a dollar book. You know how they had like the dollar on top?
Oh yeah, yeah.
In that one. But I don't know. A recent facsimile, I haven't seen one, but I'm pretty sure they've done a few.
I need to look because that's a story I've always wanted to read, so I need to look and see if there's still like cheap reprints.
I got this this compendium, and it has. Let's see. It's got first issues 1 through 14 minus 8, and then the Raphael, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Leonardo micro series. It's got Fugitoid 1, and then it's got Tales of the TMNT 1 through 5.
Oh, nice.
So I picked that up. I haven't cracked it open because I've actually been reading it digitally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun, man. I'm enjoying it. Much different than the turtle cartoon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like I've heard like it was pretty brutal when they started, man. They were pretty like hardcore.
Yeah, a couple cuss words, some blood everywhere, you know. It's
Yeah.
good.
It's like the turtles I like, obviously like Ninja Turtles I grew up with was like the 80s cartoon, and that was like my first I've actually, you probably can't see them, but I got the figures up on the wall here. Those were the retro figures that came out a couple years ago.
Cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not the originals, but they're the retros. And I just, when I saw those in store, I had to get those.
That's cool. I've got a
because
box.
they look exactly like the old school ones, man.
Do they?
Yeah.
I've got the old ones, the originals, but I played with them and they're like all beat up and
Yeah.
you know.
I have no idea what happened to the ones I had when I was a kid.
I got them in my closet. I've got Usagi Yojimbo. I can't remember the frog's name, but I got a frog and he's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and he's got a big gold chain.
I remember that character, but I can't remember the name.
Yep. So, but yeah, they're all beat up. Me and my little sister loved to play Ninja Turtles, and so we'd always be going at it with those.
Yeah.
That was fun, man.
I never got into the Ninja Turtles comics for some reason, but the figures in the cartoon I loved as a kid.
Yeah.
And even like that 90s movie, the first 90s movie that came out was so good.
Yeah, it was. I loved 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
I enjoyed 3, but I mean, I remember Go Ninja, Go more than anything.
From the second movie. The Vanilla Ice.
Rock the town without being speed. Yeah.
But I remember like seeing like how serious the first movie's tone was, and then they went to like part 2, and it just got more like cartoonish and fun.
Yeah.
And the third one was okay, but I never really watched that nearly as many times as the first 2 as a kid.
Yeah. I haven't seen the new one yet, and I actually do want to go see it.
I've heard great things about that.
I have too, and so I'm excited, but I'm probably gonna wait till I can watch it here at home.
Yeah.
But my favorite animated Ninja Turtle movie, I don't remember what year it came out, maybe like 2005-ish, but it's just TMNT. That movie.
Oh yeah, I remember about that. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh man, I loved it. Like there's this guy from the past that had lived for a long time, and then like it was such a good movie, man.
Yeah. I remember, like, if I'm not mistaken, Sarah Michelle Gellar from Buffy fame was the voice of April O'Neil in that one.
Cool.
And I remember that's why I got it, because at the time I was a huge Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. I had the hugest crush on Sarah Michelle Gellar back in the day.
That's cool. That's cool.
So I was like, she was gonna be April O'Neil. I'm seeing this movie.
Love it. Yeah, she was a big thing back then, man.
Yeah.
I've actually never watched Buffy. I've
really?
even seen one episode of the show, and I want to. I actually was telling my wife the other day. So,
like, I don't know, like, if it hold up to me now, because I haven't seen it since it was like originally on TV back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would still like it as much if I watched all the reruns, but back in the day, I like never missed it.
Yeah, that's cool. So I think there was somebody in the comic community that was saying they loved it so much, and I can't remember now. Darn. But yeah, the first TMNT film is Eastman's favorite. Oh, sweet.
That's awesome.
It's such a good movie. Such a good movie. We still put it on and enjoy the heck out of it. I try to watch Smallville recently.
Yeah.
Are you a Smallville fan at all?
Oh man. Back in the day, I never missed a single episode of that show. Every week it was on, from the first season to the very end.
Yeah.
I never missed it. I was a huge Smallville geek.
I got in about 2 episodes and my wife's like, yeah, this is boring. Turn it off.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to watch that one on my own. But
yeah,
we started watching the new CW. What is it? Superman and Lois. Have you watched that one?
No, but I've heard great things, and I've seen some like previews and trailers, and it looks so good.
Man,
And
I'm in love with
Magic Lasso, Ryan, he was telling me it was a great show. So I
it.
definitely need to watch that one.
Yeah, it's so good, man. I'm really enjoying it. And it's got a different vibe than a lot of the CW shows. Although when I first watched Flash on CW, I really enjoyed it when it first started, and then it just got a little weak. And then same
I
with
watched
Green Arrow. It was really good at first, and then it got weak. But I don't know.
I remember I think I watched The Flash up until the 4th, maybe 5th season.
That's right where I stopped watching it too.
Yeah. And Green Arrow season 2 was probably the peak for me. That was my favorite season of the Green Arrow show.
It's a
Was
good
when they had Manu Bennett on his Deathstrike
yeah.
or Deathstroke.
Yeah.
So good as that character.
Yeah.
So season 2 of that show was like the peak for me.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to watch the Superman one because you're a fan. You'll enjoy it.
Oh
It's
yeah, I definitely need to watch that.
super good.
I know they used to have like a CW app where you could watch those shows, but I think that got like decommissioned. It was like a free app back in the day.
Yeah, probably. They have so many apps nowadays. Like,
Yeah, everything's its own streaming service. It feels like, and
it
I
is.
don't have. I'm so behind on shows and movies because I have no stream. I haven't had a streaming service for almost 2 years, so I'm like so behind on everything that's new.
Are you a Star Wars fan?
I guess I'm like more of a casual fan than a hardcore. It's funny, like I never watched Star Wars growing up. I didn't see the first movie until about a year after Rogue One came out.
Really?
And I finally, Rogue One was like the first Star Wars movie I saw. And that one kind of hooked me a little bit, man. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And I went back and I found like the other Star Wars and I watched them from, I started with the prequel movies first since those were like in order. And then I watched the original 3. And I kind of got hooked on it. So I would say like I'm a casual fan of Star Wars now because of like Rogue One that drew me in. But I still haven't seen the last 2 new movies that came out.
Don't worry about it. You don't need to.
Yeah.
The Last Jedi, I have never been so angry.
Really?
I mean, I don't get angry that often, to be honest with you. I usually live a very happy plane. And I was ticked off to this day. Sometimes I'm like, they ruined it all.
Man, it was that bad.
Oh, so bad. So bad. The very last one's okay, but the Last Jedi is the worst, in my opinion, travesty of anything I've ever watched.
Yeah. Those last 2 in the Solo movie I haven't seen.
Dude, well then way to go, Buffy, because so many Doctor Who fans out there.
That's a show I've never seen, Doctor Who.
My dad used to watch him when I was a kid, like the 70s and 80s. And so we'd always watch him, and I'd be freaked out, man. Some of those episodes were weird, you know.
Really?
And, and then when it relaunched in 2005, and they had David Tennant and Matt Smith, I watched quite a few of those episodes. Really enjoyed them. But yeah, I'm a casual Doctor Who fan. I'm not a humongous one, but I bought my dad a Dalek pop. It's a little character. Have you seen Doctor Who?
No.
You just said no, right? Yeah.
No, I've never.
But I got him a pop of a Dalek, and he loves it, man. Has it up in his office and stuff. So good stuff.
I've seen like commercials and stuff, but I've never seen an episode. Yeah. But if I'm not mistaken, the guy that played Doctor Who in that season later on earlier played Zod in like a later season of Smallville.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want to say season 7 or 8 of Smallville.
Interesting.
He played Zod for a little bit. If it's like I've got the actor's face pictured in my mind, I think it's the same guy.
Interesting. Yeah, much earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of the later seasons of Smallville.
Yeah. Man, there's so much to watch, especially because I'm a huge anime fan too. That it's just, I feel like it's just endless. Right now, I've been watching One Piece, and I don't know how much you know about. Do you know anything about One Piece?
No.
Okay, so it's an anime about pirates, and it's like right now it's still going, and it started in the early 2000s, maybe late 90s. I can't remember exactly when it started, but they're like on season 1000 or episode 1200, you know.
Wow.
And
It's been
so yeah,
it's been around a while. Yeah.
it's long, you know. And I just started it recently because my son was like, "Hey, Dad, watch it with me, watch it with me." And I'm like, "Okay, but that's a lot to watch, you know. Like, let's watch one of the other animes that only has like 2 seasons, you know."
Yeah.
But he's like, "Do it." And then JP, he said something on a show I was watching or something. I can't remember exactly, but that he liked One Piece, and I was shocked because I didn't know JP liked anime. You know, and so I was like, dude, I messaged him like, you like anime? He's like, well, really, I just love One Piece, and I dabble with some of the other ones, but One Piece is one of my
Yeah.
favorite things in the world. And it just got me so excited with him, my son, and I'm like, you know what? All right, I'm gonna start doing it. So I started watching, and it's gonna be a long endeavor, but I'm really enjoying it so far. And that's one, you know. I still got Naruto,
Oh, yeah.
and I got Bleach. I gotta watch, and then all the other ones that I love, and so. But I'll tell you what, you need to find a way to watch One Punch Man and Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen. Those 3 are short.
Yeah.
They're incredible. Oh man, there's some of the best art I've ever seen. Like it's fantastic, and you'll really enjoy them. Maybe.
So like, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, go ahead. You go ahead. I was gonna say something I shouldn't say online, but I'll tell you later.
Oh. So far, the only anime that I've gotten into that wasn't Dragon Ball Z was I got into My Hero Academia for a bit, but I've only seen the first 2 seasons of that
My Hero's
before
great.
before I lost the streaming service that it was on. So
Yeah.
I don't know what season it's up to now, but I've only seen the first 2, and I definitely want to watch more of that.
Yeah, My
But
Hero's
it's like that and Dragon Ball are like the only 2 that I've seen so far.
cool. Do you have a DVD player?
My PlayStation plays DVDs.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I what I might do is mail you, like, to just lend you some stuff so you can check it out and watch it on DVD.
Okay.
Because my second favorite anime of all time, and I mean it, Dragon Ball Z is here, and it's right here. Like it touches me in the feels. It's called Rurouni Kenshin. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Okay, so it takes place in feudal Japan, and it's about this kid who has learned an unbeatable sword style. If you know this sword style, how to fight and master this sword style, you can't lose. No matter who you come across, you'll beat them. There's nothing greater. And he learns this, and there's a civil war in Japan, which is true history. So it's historical fiction. Everything that's happening around the character is actually happening in real life, right?
Yeah. That sounds like it'd be right up my alley because I love the samurai like lore and history.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you. And so this kid, like, he gets sucked into this war, and as he's fighting, he becomes this ultimate assassin for one side of the Civil War. And he is just killing people, but he's so young, he's only 14. And by the time he's 17, his soul is like shattered inside, but he's still smiling on the outside, right? And then he has this, and I won't spoil it for you because I want you to watch this, but he has this experience that makes him put his sword down and promise that he's never going to kill again. And so that's all the backstory. And when the show starts, the anime, he's wandering around with a reverse blade sword. And he's like, I'll still fight with a sword, but because the blade is reversed, I can't cut anybody, right? And I'm going to go change the world with this reverse blade sword. But one of the assassins who was the second under him, who took over after he left, he's come back to try to take over Japan, and he's pushing this character Kenshin to become who he used to be so that they can have an all-out battle to the death. But Kenshin's like, I can't kill because of this traumatic experience I had. And so he's trying to stay true to that promise. And so it pushes him in this way, and the story is just all historical and beautiful, and man, you just have to watch it. It's incredible.
That sounds like it'd be awesome, man, for sure.
Jackson Roy Kirk.
Jackson.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you like have time or like play any games at all.
I
But
don't.
there's
I used to, but tell me
yeah,
about it.
there's a game came out a couple years ago now called Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah,
It's a samurai game. It's so good, man. The story, so good.
my son plays it, and he's like, the only reason I have a PlayStation is for that game. Like,
Yeah,
he loves it so much, man. And
I know. I
I
just got to recently like try it out a couple months ago.
I saw that. Didn't you stream it or put it on Instagram or something?
Yeah, I get like I put like a ridiculous amount of time, like a couple hundred hours into it, and got the platinum trophy.
Nice,
It was
man.
like so addictive. The story, that's that. I don't know what it is about the samurai like lore, but it just I love it.
My my second favorite movie of all time is The Last Samurai. Have you seen that movie?
No, that's Tom Cruise, right? I
Yeah.
haven't seen that. I know, man, and it came out in like the '90s, I think,
Okay,
or early 2000s.
as a samurai fan that loves that lore, that movie just like makes me cry because I'm like, what a spiritual, incredible culture and beauty to the Japanese people. And the way that movie portrays it just hits me in the feels, man. It hits me in the feels.
I definitely need to watch that. It's a long overdue watch.
Yeah, it's so good too. And it has the same vibes and the same war and battle as Rurouni Kenshin, the anime. So
Oh yeah.
they're really it's telling the same story. So
Oh cool.
super good, man.
That's
Yes,
awesome. Definitely got to like remember to put that on a list.
yeah. You got. I'll send you the discs for Rurouni Kenshin so you can check it out.
All
And
right.
yeah, you'll enjoy it, man. And then maybe you can do a stream. You know, my first time watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's super good. One Punch Man, like I was telling you earlier, it really took me by surprise. I sat down one day, I got really sick, and I'm go all the time, Russ. Like,
Yeah.
you know, my kids are outside all playing volleyball as a family right now, and usually I'm out there with them. But I'm like, today, guys, I haven't done this for a while. I'm gonna just do this show, you know. But we're go, and but I got really sick, and I was in bed for like a week last year.
Oh
And
yeah.
I just sat down and I put on Attack on Titan and I just fell in love with it and I just watched it all. Then I put on One Punch Man and fell in love with that even more. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I just started watching anime after anime while I was sick in bed. But you got to watch some of those because they just tell cool stories. The art is just mind blowing. It's so good. So I think I sent you a list, didn't I, of stuff that you should watch.
Yeah, you did on Instagram, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, good stuff.
I know Tim, the comic collector on YouTube, he got into manga for a while. He was
Yeah,
collecting the whole series of I think it was Hunter x Hunter
cool.
in the books.
Yeah.
And he said those were awesome.
There's these colossal omnibuses of Attack on Titan, and they're like big, man. And
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking of starting to get those, but I just don't have any room. And my wife's like, "Stop buying stuff."
Yeah, those omnibuses, man, they can take up a lot of shelf space quickly.
Yes.
Like I know there's two that I've been thinking about getting for a while now. The Death of Superman omnibus because it has the death, the reign, the return, all of it in that one
Yeah.
place.
Yep.
So I definitely like when I take that next step into collecting omnibuses, that's going to be like the first one I buy probably.
Oh yeah, you need to. I grabbed that one. That was one of the first ones I got when I started getting to Omnis.
Yeah.
It's ginormous, man.
I know.
But
Yeah. Right now, the only one I have is this Guardians of the Galaxy Solo Stories Omni.
oh, cool.
And the only reason I have that is because there's a discount store here called Ollie's,
Mm-hmm.
and it was $20. So yeah,
Yeah, I'll take that.
yeah, for real. It's like so. It like collects all these like solo stories of the different Guardians' first appearances: Groot, Star Lord, Rocket.
Oh, that's cool, man. I
Yeah.
like.
So I've been able to like read like so much about the Guardians of the Galaxy I didn't know, and I'm like, over the past year and a half, I've become a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan because of this book.
That's cool. I love Rocket Raccoon so much, man.
But Yeah, when I saw the omnibus for $20, I'm like, there's no way I'm walking out of here without. Who's not going to buy an omnibus for
Smart
$20? You
buy.
know,
Smart buy.
for real.
That's cool, man. I think Rocket's actually my favorite MCU character.
Yeah.
I just love his comedic relief, his just everything about him, man. And then, oh, did you see Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
No, I still haven't watched that one. I love the first two movies,
It's
but
worth the watch. It's worth the
yeah,
watch.
I've heard the third one pulls on the heartstrings a couple
Oh,
times.
man, I was crying in that theater, but I
Yeah.
cried in the theater, so that doesn't mean anything. I'm crying.
Hey, I was like, I was like, the last movie I saw in the theater was Endgame, and at the end when Cap got to dance with Peggy, I cried.
Oh yeah, man.
I thought that was like that just got me in the feels, man.
I wish I could go back and have recorded myself watching that movie.
Yeah.
Because like we started at the beginning of the stream, my brother-in-law hands me these comics and Guardian and
Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah.
Yeah. And I read that and it's one of the coolest stories ever, you know?
Oh, that's
I really
like
love it. And then you go back.
I've got the trade paperback.
Yes.
And I read it for the very first time. I want to say I bought this back in 2020, the trade. And I finally got to read the story. And to me, the comic book story, as good as the movies was, the comic book story was even better.
Oh, yeah.
Because I found out about characters that I didn't know about, like Adam Warlock.
Yep.
And I read more up on Silver Surfer,
Yep.
And I just become a fan of like so many other characters. And this was like one of the top stories I've ever read.
It's so good, man. Does it in that book? Does it have Thanos Quest 1 and 2?
No, I still haven't got to read those. It like advertises them here, but it doesn't have it. This is just the 6-part story from Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah,
you've got to read those because it tells how Thanos gets the other stones and who he has to take them from and outwit or beat up. It's so good, man. It's so good. But I've
got Infinity War
cool.
in the 6-issue miniseries, but I still don't have this in. But yeah, I've heard Metarog. He recommended Thanos Quest as well.
Oh, so good! It's so good. But so reading that, waiting for that story, the anticipation of the MCU building to that. I remember when Thanos shows up, and I can't remember what movie it's in. I think it's.
I want to say it was the Guardians movie.
Maybe the Guardians.
When he did the cameo at the end, I think.
Yeah.
When he had that line, "I'll do it myself."
Yes.
Yeah. I want to say that was
I flipped out.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Who is that guy?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" You know. I literally had people like, "Dude, who was that?" Like in front of me, a couple rows.
Yeah.
That's Thanos. Ah, you know, like
for real.
I was
so good.
Out. But then Infinity War was incredible.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just incredible, man. And watching Spider-Man be snapped away or dusted, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I sobbed like a baby. And I know the comic. I know what happens. I know.
Yeah.
Come back. You know what I mean? But still, I was just like, but the anticipation between Infinity War and Endgame was
oh yeah, the wait was torture.
Oh, so good. And I put out a YouTube video of things that I thought were going to happen in the movie. I got all 6 of them right, man. And I went in that movie just like, all right, we're going to see Ronan. And I can't remember what I came up with, but I was just like, so I'm watching it. And as soon as him and his kids are there at the farm, the very beginning, I'm like, I just started crying because I'm like, his kids are about to disappear. His kids are about to disappear. And then, do you want mustard on your hot dog? And they're just in the wind. Oh my goodness, man.
That was so like, yeah.
I cried more than I didn't cry. Oh, so good.
I remember just hoping beyond hope that we would get like a small Silver Surfer tease, but they didn't have the license at the time, so they couldn't.
No. When Hulk,
but, yeah.
when Hulk was when Hulk escaped on the Bifrost and then landed in Doctor Strange's house. Silver Surfer does that in the comic.
Yeah.
And so as soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay, I see how they're doing this, because I was like, how are they going to do it without Silver Surfer and Adam Warlock? Because they are the two driving forces in the comic, you know?
Yeah, it surprised me they didn't do anything, because I think they had teased Adam Warlock in the second Guardians movie, so it kind of surprised me they didn't like even have a hint in Endgame.
Yeah, that's the one bad thing, and I don't want to ruin it for you, but I did not like the way they portrayed Adam in the Guardians of the
Oh
Galaxy.
yeah, I've heard a couple negative reviews on that.
But I mean, I still was really happy when I left that theater, and I even thought to myself, I'm never going to be this excited ever again for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I just saw the pinnacle of a cinematic experience, and that's it. It's over, you know? And
I remember like getting like literal chills down my spine when Mjolnir flew into Captain America's hand and they did that reveal.
Yes.
Chills went up and down my spine, man.
I screamed and started
oh
crying. I like jumped up in the air. You're like, I'm insane, man. But I'll say this. Now that I watch it back, I actually really get annoyed with Endgame.
Really? I haven't seen it since I watched it twice after the theater. I watched it when it streamed on Disney Plus, because I had Disney Plus for about a year when it first came out.
Yeah.
So I've only watched it like twice after the theater.
There's three things I don't like. I don't like what they did with Hulk.
Oh yeah.
Making him Professor Hulk and just nerfing him the way that they did.
Yeah.
Even thinking about him fighting Thanos in Infinity War and being scared to come out. I'm sorry, man, but
yeah, I really wanted to see an almost world breaker Hulk rage monster emerge, and it's a shame we didn't get that.
Yeah, and I get it, because Professor Hulk is the Hulk in the comics.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I didn't like the writing there, and Thanos says in Thanos Quest, when he's fighting the champion for the power gem, he's thinking about the Hulk, and he's like, that's one behemoth I never want to cross paths with. You know, like Thanos himself knows that Hulk is up there, and someone he doesn't want to fight. So that bummed me out. And then you have just the coolest most powerful Thor show up at the end of Infinity War, like, bring me Thanos, you know, with Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
And then they go and nerf him by making him Fat Thor and depressed Thor.
Yeah.
You know? And that just started like
that was such a weird like arc that they took.
Man. And then don't even get me started about Thor Love and Thunder. I'm so mad about that one too.
I never did. I never even watched that one, man. I decided to avoid that movie.
I gotta stop. So
yeah.
And then I didn't like the fact, and some people might think I'm silly, but Captain America is like the ultimate morality. That dude does not bend his morals. You read him in the comics, he is always living at this level, and he believes what he believes, and he doesn't bend. And they've got him cussing in the movie now, when in the first movie he's like, language, you know what I mean? Like, I just didn't like that they brought him down. We have to have those characters that are up there, because it's part of who he is.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? And so I don't know, those three things, every time I watch it back now, I'm like
my only like other complaint with it was, after like reading so much in this Guardians book about Drax and like how strong he was.
Oh yeah.
I really wish we could have at least got a showdown with like Drax versus Thanos, where Drax like got to knock him out at least.
Yep. When they decided to make Drax silly in Guardians 1, they really took away his power, right? And in the comics, he's not all there, but he's so powerful, man.
Yeah.
So powerful. And so
I wish they would have like done more with him.
Yeah.
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 But maybe in the future we'll get to see something. Like I think Batista is done with that character, so I don't know if they'll like reboot him later or just kind of leave him on the sidelines for a while, probably.
Yeah. I hope we get to see Silver Surfer, because he's such a cool character.
Oh man. Yeah, I hope so.
He's so holy and awesome
Yeah.
and just powerful. The power cosmic is insane. But like my favorite story with him is the Infinity Gauntlet, of course. But there's some other good ones. So
Yeah.
we'll see what they do.
I know there's a couple that I still need to get. Like, I've got the one where Thanos returned from the dead, the
Mhm.
Silver Surfer issue.
Yeah.
But I want to. The other one I think is issue 44. It's the first appearance of the Gauntlet. I want to say.
Yeah.
I still need to get that one.
Nice.
It's like a couple years ago. I didn't really like. I knew of Silver Surfer from seeing him in like that old Fantastic Four movie, Part 2.
Yeah.
But I never really got into the character. And Kenny, Comic Cat 84, was doing like his 250 sub giveaway, I think, like years ago.
Wow, that's a long
And
time
he
ago.
wanted like you to like read a book or something with his favorite, show a book with his favorite characters, which one of them was Silver Surfer. So I was looking through my collection and I found a couple of Silver Surfers. And I figured, well, I might as well read the book while I got it out instead of just showing it. And I just like, from reading that one issue, I got like into that character. I'm like, this is such an awesome character.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great. And those books you're talking about, it's like a little. It starts before Infinity Gauntlet, and it's the resurrection of Thanos. And
Yeah.
Silver Surfer's dealing with Thanos and trying to stop him and fight him, and he gets trapped on this planet where he can't get off unless he pays money. Like it's hilarious, but it's so fun and good, and I love it, man.
It's just, it's cool. Like after all these years, finally like reading a character and like getting into new characters and stuff. Like characters that have been around forever, but just now like starting to really get into them and learn more about them.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I think there's just so many stories that I know there's so many stories I haven't read. And every time I read a good story, I'm like, this is my new favorite character.
Yeah. I know we've joked about this before. It's like we both have like 25 in our top 5.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much good stuff, and that's why I'm really enjoying reading the older stuff because I haven't been collecting the newer comics lately at all. But
it's been probably close to 3 years now since I've got any newer books. I've just been focusing on older stuff.
Yeah. There's just so many. There's thousands of stories I haven't read that I need to,
Yeah. Yeah, there's still like there's quite a bit in my collection that I still need to read, man.
Yeah.
Or just reread.
Yeah.
Again, because it's been so long.
Tonight I'm actually starting Dark Phoenix Saga. So I will let you know.
Oh, man.
I will let you know. I've never read it before, and I'm excited.
So good, man. I think you'll love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I read, like I told you earlier, I read the Phoenix Saga, and I was like, okay, I like this. It's good. It's a little bit hokey, but once you realize, like, okay, Chris Claremont is writing at this time period, and this is what's going on in the world, I just go with it. And I enjoyed it. I really did.
Yeah. I still haven't read the entire first Phoenix Saga yet. The only one I've got to read was 101. But the Dark Phoenix Saga, I can't even tell you how many times I've read that story now.
Good, man. I'm going to read it, and I'm going to let you know what I think.
All right, man. Let's get a YouTube review, brother.
That's right.
Let's see. Sean says, you think Marvel will use the Sentinels in the X-Men MCU reboot? I think they will. I don't know if they'll do it in the first movie, but I think they'll definitely end up using the Sentinels in the reboot.
It sounds like we're gonna get the mutants in Deadpool 3, and we're gonna have all kinds of.
Oh yeah, I've heard all kind of cameo rumors already.
And today I read, spoiler alert if you don't want to know, but today I read. I haven't read it yet, man. I haven't. I need to. I'm starting tonight, to be honest. I heard today that the two main villains of Deadpool 3 are going to be the two Magnetos, the young Magneto and the old Magneto.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're going to see Gandalf and the other actor, and I'm excited about that. That sounds pretty cool. I also heard Harry Potter is probably going to make a cameo as Wolverine in Deadpool 3.
Really? I know there's been rumors like for a long time of Daniel Radcliffe Daniel Radcliffe possibly playing Logan.
Yep. You know how they did? They took was it John Krasinski and made him
Yeah, Mr. Fantastic. I still
Fantastic.
haven't. That's another movie I still haven't seen yet, but I've seen like all the clips and memes.
It stinks,
Really,
man. Yeah, it stinks. So
I know. I thought that was such a good casting, and then they just kind of like,
yeah, yeah. Well, what they did is they did fan service with
yeah,
Mr. Fantastic, which was cool. When he showed up, I got really stoked, and then he was done, right? And
yeah,
so they're saying the same thing. They're just going to do some fan service for all the people that have been saying Daniel Radcliffe should be Wolverine. And he's going to show up like in an alternate version of
yeah.
Wolverine real quick, you know? So
There's some of those actors, man, that I wish would like, because I really enjoyed Michael Fassbender as Magneto
that's his name.
in First Class, and
Oh, yeah.
the X-Men like reboot series.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I thought he was a great Magneto. So I would love to see him like continue that at
Yeah.
least for a few movies in the MCU. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna like recast everything after
Yeah.
all the like cameos in Deadpool and stuff.
Yeah, they have to. I think they're trying to close up, you know, loose ends and stuff. But
Yeah,
eventually, man, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but I hope we see the Sentinels in the way that we saw them in the X-Men animated series, because they're so much cooler than they made them in what was that?
yeah,
Days of Future Past?
yeah. Days of Future Past. Yeah,
Even though I love that, I actually like the movie. I like all the X-Men movies, and some of them are better than others, but I really like that one. I think that's actually my favorite. But I just want to see the big old huge Sentinel, you know,
yeah.
and
The animated series. Yeah,
busting through houses and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
for real.
yeah,
There's I would love to see. I don't know if they'll do it. 'Cause I have heard rumors that Chris Evans was going to cameo in Deadpool 3,
I've heard it too.
but I'm thinking it's probably going to be something goofy like his Human Torch from the original Fantastic Four movies. I think they're going to do that.
That's true. They could do that. That's true.
But I really would love to see like at least one scene of Chris Evans as Captain America in like World War II, and look over and see like Logan fighting beside him. I would love to see at least one scene like that with like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and Chris Evans Captain America together. But they're probably going to go the Human Torch route since it's Deadpool.
Or do Chris Evans Captain America, Chris Evans right next to him, Human Torch.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Flame on.
That'd be good. That'd be really good.
Yeah. But I like those. I thought those Fantastic Four movies with him were fun.
Yeah, I was okay. They were good. You know, they weren't great. They weren't amazing. They were just cool. And I didn't like the newest Fantastic Four movie. I didn't hate it either, though. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's another one that I didn't. I just never got around to watching. There's so many movies I just. One day I just need to like binge everything.
John likes that statue.
Oh, that statue is so epic, man.
Give him a little view.
Just anything that like that 90s X-Men animated series, like so much nostalgia for me.
Yeah. When I opened that and unboxed it, I like had tears in my eyes. This can't do it justice. It can't.
Oh yeah, it's so huge. It's like it's huge, man.
It's huge. It's huge. But this is my favorite statue.
Ah, the Ghost Rider.
It's just fantastic.
That thing is epic, dude.
Yes, it is. So
is it Sideshow or XM Studios?
XM Studios, I believe. Actually,
both those companies are so epic, man, with statues. I've seen so many that like there's a Superman statue. I believe it's by Sideshow. It's called Call to Action.
Yeah,
and it's like a Christopher Reeve style Superman.
Cool.
It comes with a collector's edition. It has like the old school reporter hat and just like him like taking off the Clark Kent thing.
Yes,
it's like
that one.
Yeah, it's like $600 though, and that's like so far beyond. Like,
you'll appreciate this. My wife has told me I can't get any more statues because I have no more room. So, but two statues that eventually, if I ever get my own comic room, you know, I'm gonna buy them. The first one is Thanos sitting on his throne
Oh
with
yeah.
Lady Death behind him, and it's awesome, man. But it's like $4,000 on eBay. It's insane. So hopefully by the time I can buy it, it's way cheaper.
Yeah.
But it is, I mean, beautiful. Then another one is Cyborg Superman.
Oh yeah.
It's just 1/3, so it's huge, and I mean it's gorgeous. And the last one is Doomsday, where he has the stick with Superman's cape flying.
Oh yeah.
Like coming at you, and it's a 1/3 as well. Oh my gosh, those are
Oh.
just magnificent.
I would love to have that. Like, I remember seeing a Superman versus Doomsday statue,
Yeah, they have
but
one.
it's I'm pretty sure it's at least $4,000, if not more.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
up there for sure. I didn't know that Doomsday statue existed, but when I used to go to Jim Mint's house and hang out with him and do some shows, you walk in there and he's got all the statues, and I remember just seeing it. I'm like, like the Doomsday is as big as me. Like it was insane, man.
I remember I used to watch his statue review videos back in the day.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I saw that Doomsday on there, and it had like an accessory where Superman's cape was like clawed around Doomsday's fist.
Yes.
That looked so cool, man.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and seeing it in person, I was like, okay, I need to own that.
Like the size and the weight of those statues, I couldn't imagine, because they have to have incredible weight to them too.
They do. I had the biggest.
Like I wouldn't even know where I would. Like even if I could get that, I have no idea where I would put it.
Yeah, like this Sentinel, man. In order for me to move it, I have to take it apart because it's too heavy.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's got all those like the X-Men like around it are all like individual pieces, right?
They are, but it's so heavy. Like I gotta pull it apart. Yes, my love.
Yeah.
Is your family home evening still?
Yes. Yes. All right, Russ. My family is calling me.
All right, brother. I appreciate you hanging out for so long, man.
Of course. Thank you.
It's been awesome, like catching up, man, and just talking comics.
Yeah, it's felt so good to see you and some of the people that popped in today. I haven't seen a lot of them online forever. So thank you guys for stopping by Rush's channel and saying hi tonight. And we got to do this again. So
absolutely.
Thank you.
Real quick, for anybody that watches on the replay that might be a new viewer and doesn't know Matt, his channel link is the first one in the description. Go check out some of his videos.
Thanks.
What's up, Gino?
Hey, Gino. Good to see you.
But again, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show and just hanging out and just, man, talking comics, man.
It's been fun. It's been really fun.
It's definitely been a blast going down that like nostalgic road. Do you have anything coming up on your channel that you want to like give people a heads up for?
I just picked up a big book. A lot of people have watched the video, but if you haven't seen it, I'll show you real quick. Got this, baby. And I know
that's beautiful, man.
Russ appreciates that one. So go check that video out because I did a cool trade, and it was really awesome the way it all worked out. I've got a couple omnibus. I'll show you here. Like I've been collecting omnis, and so I got a whole bunch of them, like here and then behind these. So I got to show everyone what I've got. You know, wow, you're looking up my nose there. I picked this up. This came out previous to Ghost Rider 1 Danny Ketch. It was a month earlier. So a lot of people say this is the first appearance of Danny Ketch Ghost Rider. I have all the other ones, second print, newsstand, regular. And so I got this one, and now I just need to get this one with a newsstand so I can kind of just, you know, he's one of my favorite of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Love that. So that video, I'll be making that soon. You guys got to see that before everyone else did. But yeah, just go check out the videos, you know, and leave me a comment. Love to hear from you guys.
Awesome, man. All right, I guess I'll wrap it up here. Next week, next Monday, I've got Bearded Comic Bro coming on the show. And beyond that, I've got some other awesome guests lined up. I'm booked all the way through November 6th. So there's a lot of awesome guests coming up to check out. And I'll catch you guys in the next video, which I've got one coming out tomorrow. Be on the lookout for that. I got an A-OK from Simple Simon.
Nice.
And, keep it 9,000, guys.
Mischief managed.